How many people do you think died from car accidents in the year 2015? Type your answer in the field below and click Submit to see how you... Scary, isn't it? Let's take a closer look at some statistics on driving published by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA. First, the good news. Since 2006, the number of fatalities on U.S. roadways has been in general decline. In fact, 2014 saw the lowest fatality rate since the U.S. Department of Transportation began keeping statistics, 32,744 deaths. This is, of course, a great trend, but the bad news is that in 2015 there was a 7% increase to 35,092 deaths. That's an average of more than 95 people killed per day. And motor vehicle traffic crashes were the #1 cause of death for those aged 16 to 24. The vast majority of these deaths occur in passenger vehicles, the kind most of us drive. And of those passenger vehicle occupants who died, almost half were not wearing a seatbelt. 29% of those fatalities occurred in an accident where one or more of the parties involved was drunk. Perhaps the most important piece of information in this section to remember is that your chances of dying while driving dramatically increase if you are drunk or not wearing a seatbelt. Here are the top 10 states ranked according to the greatest number of roadway deaths in 2015. Texas, 3,516 fatalities. California, 3,176 fatalities. Florida, 2,939 fatalities. Georgia, 1,430 fatalities. North Carolina, 1,379 fatalities. Pennsylvania, 1,200 fatalities. New York, 1,121 fatalities. Ohio, 1,110 fatalities. Illinois, 998 fatalities. Michigan, 963 fatalities. Injuries. In 2015, the NHTSA reported that 2,443,000 people were injured in vehicle crashes. While not all injuries are severe, many can cause long-term damage resulting in disability. Injuries cost money, and they also diminish your quality of life. Would you risk a serious injury just to get to the grocery store a little faster? The decision you make in a single moment while driving can impact the rest of your life, even in a case where no one dies. Property damage. Most crashes don't cause injury to the driver or occupants. Of the over 6 million crashes in 2015, 71%, over 4,500,000, resulted in only damage to property. While death and injury are the most serious consequences of driving accidents, property damage contributes to another important aspect of the traffic safety problem: economic losses. Economic losses. Crashes cost money and result in economic losses. Think about all the ways a crash can affect your bank account: time away from work, legal expenses, medical expenses, insurance administration costs, and, of course, property damage. In 2010, these economic costs totaled $242 billion nationally. That's a hefty price tag. An estimated $96 billion of that figure comes from just two factors: speeding, $52 billion, and alcohol impairment, $44 billion. Additionally, accidents that leave someone seriously injured or dead also result in a decrease in the overall quality of life for the injured and those affected by death and injury. The NHTSA attempted to evaluate just how much money is lost when you consider this wider decrease in the quality of life. That $242 billion price tag jumps to an outstanding $835 billion. And of course, in the end, there's no price tag on your life itself. You need to become a defensive driver. You can't afford not to be. We mentioned earlier that there was a 7% increase in fatalities from 2014 to 2015. That's 2,348 more deaths in 2015. Let's break that down to get a better sense of the traffic safety problem nationwide. We'll focus on human choices, situations that we control. The choices we'll talk about are responsible for more than 10% of the overall increase. Number 1, speeding. It is one of the most dangerous actions you could perform behind the wheel. This includes exceeding the posted speed limit as well as driving too fast for the road conditions. In total, speeding killed more than 9,500 people and was to blame for about 25% of all traffic fatalities in 2015. According to the records, 274 more people died in 2015 from speeding than in 2014. Number 2, failure to wear a seatbelt. In 2015, 9,874 of the people who died on U.S. roadways were not wearing a seatbelt. This number increased by 5% from 2014. Seatbelts save lives, and the choice not to wear one can be the last choice you make. Number 3, alcohol. You probably guessed this was coming. Alcohol was a factor in more than 10,000 fatal crashes in 2015. We'll say it now, and you'll hear it many more times throughout our course. Alcohol and cars don't mix. If you drink and drive, you are more likely to die in a car, period. Number 4, distracted driving. The stats don't lie. 3,477 people died in an accident where one or more drivers were distracted. Whether looking at a cell phone, grabbing something from the back seat, or hurriedly eating breakfast on a commute, taking your mind, hands, or eyes away from the task of driving can kill people. There's a reason we saved this category for last. Distracted driving saw the largest percentage increase in the number of deaths. 8.8% more people died from distracted driving in 2015. That's an alarming trend. While our phones get smarter every year, we need to get smarter about using them. One final note. The statistics we've mentioned represent overlapping categories. Some people may have been intoxicated and driving aggressively. Some people were likely driving aggressively and looking at their cell phones. Some people may have been doing all three. If you compound one bad choice with another, your chances of becoming a statistic yourself increase dramatically. For more information and more statistics, visit the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's website, www.nhtsa.gov. The information and resources the organization provides may just save your life. Educate yourself on the risks of driving. Most of us drive every day, so the least we can do is understand the risks involved to ourselves and our loved ones. In this section, we covered the traffic safety problem, discussing death, injury, and economic loss statistics in the U.S. We also examined human factors that contributed to a rise in fatal crashes in 2015. You've reached the end of the chapter. Click the right arrow when you're ready to take the quiz. Feel free to browse back through the section to review any material.